Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yo, I wanted to check in with the people and talk about LiAngelo Ball's Tweakers record. I think it's a real interesting discussion. First of all, shout out to Ball and the Ball family for constantly being in the news cycle and for the success that they've had, over the duration of the period. But no one saw Ball coming with the hottest rap record of 2025, the first hit record in hip hop, 2025 with Tweakers. Now, many of you will probably be like, Tweakers not my thing, whatever. But I think this is a very interesting discussion in the fact of, how hits are made in hip hop now, the fact that, hits can come from unlikely places now, and the fact that you don't really have to have a album in the background or an album anticipated on the way to even get on festival lineups. LiAngelo Ball has gotten on festival lineups with the success of Tweakers thus far. Like, the record's only about a week or so old. So, first things first, if you ain't heard Tweakers, go check it out. Obviously on YouTube right now. You can go on YouTube, put in Tweakers and LiAngelo Ball. Now, what he did was he went to World Star with this, launched it off, got it going. But I think if we want to look deeper, what he did, he tapped into some New Orleans nostalgia. Like, when you hear this, it puts you in the mind of big timers. And he's from Cali originally. And so that level of nostalgia is something that we really haven't seen athletes when they come to the mic and perform or put out rap records, because we've seen this before. The way I was really going to approach this video of talking about Tweakers, I was going to talk about some of the great NBA hip hop records, like, Chris Webber was on Gangsta with Corrupt. Obviously, you got Shaq, Can't Stop the Rain. Kobe did what he did with 50 Cent or whatever. And you got, 40 Bars by Allen Iverson, which I think was a real dope record. And I can go through some of those. And, one of my personal favorites is when Aaron Gordon went at D Wade 9 out of 10. I thought that was brilliant. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But usually what you get when you have athletes making rap records, they'll either get with an established act or the rapper at the time, or they'll go out there and kind of blend in with the sound that's going on in hip hop at the moment. But he didn't do that. I think he reached into a creative bag and was like, look, I'm going to take it back to some New Orleans bounce or whatever. And you clearly see that he was really inspired by that. And this is something that has become a success. I mean, you got people like Moneybagg Yo and Boosie, and just to name a few, they want to jump on this remix. And like I said earlier, he's gotten on the Rolling Loud stage. He was announced as one of the performers. I'm interested to see where this goes, but it made me think. At this point in 2025, where we're at in hip hop right now, is it? I don't want to say easy. I think easy is a bad term. Can anyone of notoriety really go out there and figure out a way to make a hit hip hop record? Now, follow me. I'm not hating. I love what LiAngelo is doing. I think it's dope. I love the fact that basketball players from the WNBA, NBA to men and women's college basketball, everybody's getting on one accord and, grooving to this record because you can. Like, it's a viral sensation. It's real. But it made me think about Ice Spice Munch, right? Or even, Boss Man D-Lo, what he's been able to do with his viral hits. Hit records are not easy to make. I don't ever want to say that, because hit records are fewer than, records in general. Like, you could have cult classic albums. They might outnumber the true hit records, because hit records aren't easy to make. But there's a strategy to it, and it's very strategic. It makes me wonder, though, anybody in entertainment with resources and with some level of focus and who has a direction with it, just off shock value alone, are they not able to go out there and make a record that can connect, put those resources behind it, push, and make a hit record in hip hop? Because again, to make a hit hip hop record, you don't have to be able to be you don't have to be a lyricist or anything like that, and that's fine. Whereas in other genres, you may need to have a certain level of vocal ability. You may need to have a certain level of writing ability. Whereas in hip hop, you can kind of just boom. And again, like I said earlier, you don't really have to have the mindset of like, yo, if I put this record out, I gotta come with an album behind it. You don't have to do that in hip hop anymore. I think even with Kendrick's Not Like Us, even though he dropped G and X, he didn't really have to. Not Like Us lasted him the whole year, and you don't even need to make a full album to combat it. But I think what LiAngelo Ball hit song Tweakers is showing us is you don't need Flex to drop bombs on records anymore. You don't need, radio spins going crazy. And I think we've known this for some time. But this stuff happens quick. And as somebody with the level of resources that he has, and obviously as serious as he was about this song, it is about this song, he didn't need to go through any of the traditional routes to actually make this song a success and the biggest record in rap music right now. And at some point, it might be the biggest record, period. I heard that he got number one on YouTube. I think he's number one on the Apple Music charts. I mean, don't quote me on that. We'll go back and check the analytics and everything. But at the end of the day, we know that this record is a success. And it's really reshaping, especially to start the year out, it's reshaping how hit records are being, conceived and thought of. You don't have to even be somebody that considers yourself to be a rapper as your first job, if you will, to be able to say, you know what, I can go out here and make a hit record in hip hop. And LiAngelo has done that. And I think he took his inspiration from previous eras, previous regions. He's not even from New Orleans. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's from Cali. And I think that that's so dope that he was able to do that. After I was listening to Tweakers, thinking about doing this video and inspired to do this video because of Tweakers, I started listening to Big Thomas. I was listening to Big Ballin'. I was listening to How We Do It, Get Your Roll On. These were great records. These were really dope records. Somebody sent me a video of the Bucks playing Tweakers in the locker room, and they were saying that, Damian Lillard was kind of like, whatever. But we all know that Dame is the lyricist in the NBA. I think he's probably pound for pound the best, bar for bar, the best MC that the NBA's ever birthed. But it takes a different dimension to be able to make a hit record. I don't think that is a knock on anyone one way or another. You just got to understand when a hit record is a hit record. And I think LiAngelo was able to identify what it was able to take to make a hit record in this era, and he knocked it out the park. He went through the right avenues. He's going through the proper avenues, too, to get it more legs. And I think it's a fascinating thing. Now, previously, I mean, here are some records that I jotted down. If you haven't heard them, from NBA players that made rap records, I think that, you should possibly check out. Gangsta Gangsta, Corrupt and Chris Webber. Chris Webber got on there spitting. I mean, it's Corrupt. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be spitting with Corrupts on the record. Now, I thought it was interesting when Lance Stevenson jumped on Bobby Shmurda's Hot Nigga. See, a lot of NBA players in this era have done that, where they'll do a freestyle and they'll jump on a record that's already established and a record that's already going. And I think that, again, that kind of goes to the mindset of what I was saying before, where athletes will tend to, collaborate with someone who's established or somebody of the time. And that's kind of what I saw in a lot of my research, where it's like the athletes that jump out there and make rap records is never really anything super original. It's just something that kind of meshes in with what goes on with the time. So I kind of left out a lot of those, but I did want to note that Lance Stevenson does have a version of Hot Nigga out there. Now, Gary Payton's Living Legal and Large I thought was very interesting, because the life of, at least back then, I can't even speak for it now, but the life of a emerging athlete and an emerging hip-hop artist were very similar as far as youth. Like, coming out of the trenches, coming out of, poverty, coming out of, low-income communities, and going out here getting some money on a high level, on a very legal level. And Gary Payton speaks on a lot of those things on there. But Gary Payton had a very too short type of style. Like, Gary Payton's from the Bay. But his approach, if you go listen to this record, Living Legal and Large by Gary Payton, it puts you in the mindset of Too Short. Another one that I didn't even know this one was out there. LeBron and KD did a record together. It ain't easy. KD's nice. And no disrespect to LeBron. LeBron kind of has that Shaq-ish type of style where it's like he going for it, whatever. But KD's nice. KD can really rap. Now, I would like to hear more from KD. I've heard KD spit on various occasions. And speaking of, LeBron, I think it's noteworthy that Wade and Rick Ross had a record together featuring oh gosh, I'm tripping. Tony. Yeah, Raphael Sadiq. Now, this record was very clear that Rick Ross wrote the bars for D Wade. Now D Wade, I don't know if it was the way he was executing or you know what, I'm gonna put this on the ghostwriter. Rick Ross doesn't do a great job of disguising his ghostwriting style, and when you hear this record, you can hear that it was very, very clear that Rick Ross wrote D Wade's verse. And then to make it even more funny after that, Ross comes right in after D Wade. And so it's very apparent who wrote the bars. And speaking of D Wade, I want to speak on Aaron Gordon's 9 out of 10. Now, many of you remember when Aaron Gordon was in the slam dunk contest and was cheated. I don't want to say cheated because it was a very, very close competition. But one of the deciding factors was D Wade giving Aaron Gordon a 9 out of 10 on a dunk that should have been a 10. And if he would have gotten a 10 from D Wade, he would have won. So instead of going out there and speaking about this to the media ad nauseum, I give Aaron Gordon a lot of credit for actually putting together a D Wade diss record and shooting a music video for it as well and calling it 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the most hilarious moments in, I guess, hip-hop, rap, NBA history because it was so relevant. It was a real situation, and he sat there and told the story, and he was in his house while he was doing it. It's brilliant. So, yeah, look up Aaron Gordon's 9 out of 10. I thought that was a dope record, too. Lonzo Ball got on Free Smoke and went crazy. Look, the Ball brothers, I want to hear more from them in rap, And again, this is entertainment. I'm not sitting here thinking that I'm going to get an Illmatic from, one of the Ball brothers. But I love the fact that they're having fun with the music, and you can tell that they really love the music, and, the fun just translates over. Now, I think Kyrie Irving, when he did the Ridiculous record that was on the Uncle Drew soundtrack, that was a really dope record. And it showed that, Kyrie really has some talent when it comes to this music thing. I think these guys, man, there's some people, whatever they do, they're good at. And I think Kyrie's probably one of those guys. Chris Brown's one of those guys, too. Like, Chris Brown can sing, rap, he can play basketball, he can dance. Like, certain people, whenever they pick up something, they're good at it. And I think Kyrie's one of those. So look up Ridiculous from Kyrie Irving. It's a dope record. Jason Kidd, What the Kid Did. You should just listen to that just for laughs, if you will. Shout out to Jason Kidd. Dame Dollar did a record with Lil Wayne, Sorry. And again, Dame Dollar showing his skill set as an MC. And I think he is, top to bottom, bar for bar, best MC that we've ever seen from the NBA. I spoke about 40 bars from Allen Iverson. I thought that record was stupid dope, man. And this was on a Reebok commercial back in the day that Allen Iverson had for some shoes that he had that were coming out. And the beat was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And Iverson came with his own style. Now, this is one of those times where I can say that an NBA player came with their own style, their own sound. And it was something that was new and refreshing. Like, if he was a new artist or whatever, I wouldn't even really take it as, okay, well, this guy's not a serious artist. I think that 40 bars, I wish Allen Iverson would have kept going on it. It wasn't gimmicky. It wasn't trendy. And what made it very different at the time from other NBA artists, if you will, NBA athletes that became artists, what made it different was the fact that Allen Iverson was out here cursing. And he wasn't sitting here like, giving you the edited versions like other NBA players. He was giving it to you raw, pause. And obviously, man, the most noteworthy, I can't have this conversation without talking about Shaq. I think Shaq really broke down a lot of barriers for this. You know, biological Phil's my father. My biological didn't bother. Very dope record. When he jumped on the record with the Foo Snickens and Fife, dope record. No Hook with RZA, Method Man, dope record. But we have to speak on Shaq's "Can't Stop the Rain" with Biggie. Now, granted, the Notorious B.I.G. is on the record. Shaq did his thing on the record. It's a well put together record. I think if we're being real about it, and we're counting every NBA record that was made by an NBA player that attempted to rap, it's kind of a cheat code to have an established MC on there, especially a legendary MC like Biggie. But you were able to hang. I don't want to say hang with Biggie. You were able to rhyme with Biggie where it was like, it didn't sound crazy. So I got to give credit where credit's due. Can't Stop the Rain is the best NBA rap record ever. And it's one of Biggie's best featured appearances ever. Biggie on Can't Stop the Rain is legendary. Both verses, man, the way he is stopping and starting his style on that final verse, man, that dude was somewhere else with it, man. But again, I love the fact that athletes and MCs can kind of pull their worlds together, and it mostly happens with NBA players. So to even see the Ball brother having the success with Tweakers, I think is really refreshing. I think it's going to continue to, keep those rapper basketball player relationships continuously going. And he has the hottest record in 2025. Congratulations to him. I hope he continues on with some more records. Don't let it get in the way of, your main job, your day job. But hey, who knows? If he keeps coming with some hit records, man, he might, put the basketball down for a second and get in the studio. But I think it's all in fun. And I think it's great that in hip hop right now, we can have people going out there making fun records, having a good time with it, having success with it, but at the same time being able to have the other artists over here who focus on more full-length efforts. Now, I think that hip-hop really wins when we split the difference and you have the people who are making hit records making full bodies of work as well. But look, I'm okay with LiAngelo Ball being able to go out here in the first week of 2025 and setting the year off right. He's setting the tone for everybody out there. And when I say everybody, I mean all the hip-hop artists. Not just the NBA player hip-hop artist or a basketball player hip-hop artist, because he's technically not in the NBA. But he's setting the tone. And I think it's a great thing, man. Shout out to him for Tweakers. And if you ain't heard Tweakers, man, go out there, check it out. I'm looking forward to what 2025 is going to bring in hip-hop. It's a good look. Make sure you like and subscribe here. Hit in the comment section if I missed any of the great NBA or basketball player or athlete hip-hop songs. And let me know what you think is the best hip-hop song made by an athlete. And let me know who you think the best MC athlete is. All right? A2HH, you already know.